Hey everyone, I'm Erica. This is a short sequence for your outer hips, your rotators to help with that outer rotation. If you have any sciatic discomfort or if you just get pain in your outer hips, this is perfect for that. This is a laying on your back sequence, and I will make it as visual as possible for you, so I might be moving around a little bit, but you can just stay in one position. So start with laying on your back, and we're going to start with a fairly familiar pose, figure 4. So flex your right foot and hook your ankle just over your left knee. Keep your foot flexed and press your right knee away from you. Check in with your hips, make sure they don't swivel. Your right hip doesn't move towards the end of your mat, but your hip stays square. And you want your ankle to be, the knuckle of the ankle to be right in line with the shin bone, not too far over here, because then it's really easy to sickle your ankle. So you want to have your foot flexed and that ankle nice and long. Press your knee away from you. And then maybe, if that's enough, you can stay there. Or you can start to walk your left foot in, maybe come onto your toes, maybe interlace your fingers, bring your knee nice and close. I can get my left knee pretty close, so I'm actually going to wrap my arms around the outsides of my knees. Take another 3 breaths and just relax everything into your mat. And that sensation that you're feeling in your right hip, use your breath and see if you can allow some softness in there. Allow some lengthening, some space. And then keep your knees nice and close to you. Keep your right foot flexed and bring your legs in that same position over to the left, so that your right foot comes flat on the floor or as close as it can, and your left knee comes down. Take your right arm out to the right. You can turn your gaze to the right to bring that twist into your spine. And then take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and bring your right knee in a little closer. Send your right hip forward towards the front of your mat, away from your shoulder, and then arch your back. Take your lower back away from your mat. Get right into that piriformis, all those muscles of the outer hips. Really big muscles that are in there, and they could be tricky to get to all of them. So pressing your knee in towards yourself, taking your right hip down towards the front of your mat, and arching your right low back away, the right side of your low back away, maybe twisting your head to look to the right, twisting into your neck. Wherever your neck is, lengthen it. And then bring your gaze back to center. Use your hands to help your knees back up to center. And then slide your right knee all the way over to the right, so you're crossing your legs nice and close to your knees. Take your hands, interlace them beyond your knees, and draw your knees in close. And then take 3 long, deep breaths here. Slide the back of your head towards the back of your mat, and again, invite space and softness into that right hip. Relax your shoulders down, relax your jaw. Your jaw is not included in any yoga postures. Sometimes it's used to loosen if you're doing stuff with your face, so you have face yoga. But especially with the hips, you want to focus on your jaw and keep it relaxed. Flex your feet, and then slide your hands down your shins. Take hold of your ankles or the outside edges of your feet. Keep your inner ankles long. Flexed feet, so no sickling your feet, no folding your feet over. And then start to take your toes up towards your head, towards the top of your mat, and then down towards the floor, so that one day your shins will be parallel with the floor and parallel with each other. So your jaw and your pelvis are closely connected, not physically closely, but emotionally, energetically. And when there's tension in one, there's usually tension in the other. So releasing the tension in your jaw can help release the tension in your pelvis. Lift your head up by about 1 inch. Tuck your chin strongly, lengthen the back of your neck, and then lower your head down again. Take 1 more breath here. Allow that softness into your right hip. And then release your feet. Bring your hands beyond your knees again. Give your knees one last squeeze into your chest. Relax your shoulders down. Relax your jaw, lengthen the back of your neck. And then release your legs. Bring your feet flat to the floor. We'll take a bridge pose. Just kind of neutralize things. Reach your hands down so they can touch the backs of your heels. Lift your tailbone so you're really tilting your pelvis. Keep your tailbone lifting. Keep your knees at hips distance and lift your hips up. Reach your knees, your tailbone forward. Lift your tailbone. Push your heels down, your shoulders down. Lift your hips up again. Just leave your arms alongside your body for now. Just be here for a couple of breaths. See if you can lift your hips more, lift your tailbone more, lengthen your knees forward. Keep your thighs, your knees at hip distance, don't let them move away from each other. And then nice and slowly lower down. Keep lifting your tailbone until your pelvis reaches the ground and then release. We'll go to the other side. So flex your left foot, bring your left ankle, the knuckle of the ankle right over the right thigh bone. Bring your left hand to your left knee. Keep your left foot flexed to protect your knee joint. Press your knee away from you. And again, don't let your hips swivel. Keep the side of your body equal on the left and on the right. So you might even, I need to pull that left hip up as I press my knee away to keep that swiveling from happening. And then walk your right foot in closer. Maybe come onto your toes. Maybe interlace your fingers. If you're here, use your left elbow to press your left thigh, your left knee away from you, keeping your left foot flexed. And then if you're able to, you can wrap your arms around your knees. Relax your spine, relax your jaw, lengthen the back of your neck. Keep your left foot flexed wherever that leg is. And then take 3 breaths, allowing that outer hip to just soften, expand, release. And then using your hands, keep your shoulders on your mat as much as you can as you draw your legs over to the right. Left foot comes flat, right hand to the outside of your right knee. Right hand to the outside of your left knee so you can draw your knee towards you. Left arm comes out, palm facing up. You can turn to look to the left, or if that's too much, you can just look to the ceiling. Wherever you are, lengthen the back of your neck. And draw your left knee in towards you. Send your left hip forward to the end of the mat and lift, arch your low back. So actively and consciously arching your lower back to stretch that muscle. Take another 3 breaths, and again, invite that softness. Even though this is a really active position with the knee pressing out, the hip lengthening, the back arching, and the shoulders twisting, keep the strength, but release the tension if you can figure out how to differentiate the two. And then bring your gaze back to center. Use your hands to help bring your knees back up. Slide that left leg over, crossing your knees nice and high. Interlace fingers. Take them beyond you and draw your knees in. So this is getting ready for eagle pose. This is the same crossing of the legs as in eagle pose. And eventually you cross your foot behind the shin, behind the calf, for a second crossing, a tighter crossing, but for now, with the addition of the hands, allowing that to be the stretch in here. And as always, releasing the tension. And then another pose that we do in a different orientation, usually we're sitting up for this, Gomukhasana. Flex your feet, slide your hands down to your ankles or to the outer edges of your feet. Keep your feet flexed, your ankles long, and then start to draw your knees in towards you. Your feet up towards your head and your feet down towards your mat. Find the strength, keep the strength. The strength of your muscles is going to keep your knee joints safe, but release the tension. You don't need that. The tension doesn't help anything. So just remember that you can find what you do need, that strength that you do need, the safety that you do need. In this case, the safety for your joints. And you know that you don't need the tension, so just let that go. Take one more breath. Release your feet, keep your feet flexed, bring your hands back to your knees, and then just relax your feet. Give your knees one last squeeze into your chest. Relax, release the tension. Release your knees, bring your feet flat, walk your feet in, so that your fingertips brush the backs of your heels. We'll do one last bridge pose. Tuck your tailbone, lift it up so you're flattening your low back. Keep your pelvis in that orientation, keep your knees at hip distance. Lift your hips just 6 inches this time. Bring your hands underneath you, interlace your fingers. Walk your shoulder blades towards each other. Come back to center. Lift your tailbone, push your feet down, lift your hips up, and then really lengthen your knees forward, lengthen your tailbone forward. Engage your quadriceps, relax your glutes. Lift your hips more, lift your tailbone more. Keep your low ribs pressing down, don't let them arch up too much. Reach your knees forward, lift your hips, push your shoulders down. Take one more breath. And then lower halfway down. Release your arms, keep your tailbone lifting as you lower your low back. And then once everything's on the floor, then release your tailbone. Give your knees one last squeeze into your chest. Make some little circles on your low back. 3 or 4 in one direction, and then the other direction. Come back to center. Release your knees. And there you go. That's your short outer hip practice. Easy enough to do every day, and you'll feel fantastic after. Hope you enjoyed it.